Hi everyone, Eric's on the mic. How did San Andreas look like before the protagonist's return? I talk about the period after that moment when Carl left for Liberty City in 1987 and until he returned in 1992. Unfortunately, this question can only be answered with speculation, as no full-fledged backstory was released for GTA San Andreas, unlike GTA 3 and Vice City. A 20-minute introductory video called The Introduction provides only basic information about CJ's past, so I decided to try to reproduce what the state looked like and what happened in it, both way before the arrival and also a bit before the arrival of the protagonist too. In my video I rely on the available story data, such as the game map, radio stations, the official website, and that official introductory video. In the comments you can leave your opinion and perhaps complete the picture with your own guesses. So, let's move on to the main topic. First off, the Grove Street Families gang had not yet split up and included the Seville Boulevard family and the Temple Drive family. What's more, we can tell from numerous character replicas that it controlled more neighborhoods and was one of the key gangs in the city's criminal world. Perhaps Idlewood was previously under its control, as it is claimed the moment Sweet starts talking about reclaiming territories. It's also home to a barbershop and pizzeria familiar to the Grove Street Boys. The official website may hint at this indirectly, stating that in early days of the gang's weakness, this neighborhood became disputed, then held by the Ballas faction. It's likely that Willowfield used to belong to the Groves too, as it adjoins their main neighborhood, Ganton, and Emmett does trade there, having been closely associated with the Green gangs and often supplying them with weapons. Grove Street seems to have had other territories, but I haven't found any more confirmations on that. Overall, in the past, the gang is strong. All the Grove families are friendly to each other, while the Ballas and Vagos are not yet strong enough to remove Grove Street from the city map, though they are slowly moving towards that goal. It is because the city's gangs are beginning to develop a trade in illegal substances, and it is the Ballas and Vagos who are becoming leaders in this, which will eventually give them considerable influence. In terms of individual personalities, it should be noted that Big Smoke previously lived on Grove Street, as did the rest of the gang. It can be assumed that he lived in this house, as he looks in his direction at the end of the very first story mission. While CJ was away, it was revealed that Big Smoke had acquired himself a new car, a black Perennial, and perhaps he can't be directly labeled a traitor just yet, as the main events of this story are still to come. However, there is a possibility that he has already begun to lean toward cooperating with the enemies of the Grove Street family, guided by personal interests, which he has always put above everything else. Ryder, for his part, was still loyal to the gang without a hint of treason. It can be assumed that during CJ's absence from the city, Ryder became friends with the mysterious figure of LB, as the protagonist does not know who he is until he returns and begins doing business on the streets. LB's appearance can probably be inferred based on the Catalyst mission, but it's not certain. The drug dealer we eliminated in one of the missions, according to Ryder, was in contact with members of the Front Yard Ballas gang. It seems he picked up the idea of drug trafficking from them and started operating in the Ganton area. Near the Idlewood neighborhood, a pizza parlor once contained graffiti made by members of the Grove Street gang. Over time, the drawings were erased, much to Ryder's displeasure. Gangster B. Dup was also a member of the Grove Street families, but, just like Big Smoke, he saw a change in conditions on the city streets and decided to capitalize on it. At this time, Big Bear, another respected member of the gang, had not yet fallen into addiction. And judging by the unused files, he was quite well fed when healthy. Jeffrey Martin, who has yet to come up with the alias OG Locke, is already looking to earn a reputation as a real gangster. He starts with minor infractions, such as refusing to obey traffic laws in order to get into jail and soon get out of there as OG. However, his efforts go unappreciated by the locals. The protagonist's mother, Beverly Johnson, was still alive. The house on Grove Street held more than just memories for the Johnson family. It was a living testament to the life Beverly Johnson had built with hard work. Denise Robinson recounted that she had 3 children that she had given away. The first child came into her life when she was barely more than a child herself. With unsteady hands and a heart full of conflicting desires, Denise made the agonizing decision to place her baby into the arms of another. The respected figures of Tony, Lil Devil, and Big Devil stand as legends among the community, their stories whispered with reverence and sorrow. Although their lives were cut short during the turbulent gang wars, their influence and spirit continue to shape the heart and soul of Grove Street. Parallel to this, there were significant developments in music. The rapper Mad Dog made a sensation by releasing 2 albums in 1990. At the time, he was dating Rochelle, another hip-hop artist who also released an album in 1991. They broke up later. Police officer Ralph Pendlebury was still alive at the time. He was investigating corruption in the ranks of the police force, and when he discovered the connection of officers Tenpenny and Pulaski to drug dealings, he began threatening them. In response, they made the decision to get rid of the threat. Jimmy Hernandez, a young police officer, had already been working on the streets of Los Santos for 3 years, handling a variety of small tasks. This work represented a significant responsibility and importance for him, and he did not yet know what he would face in the future. At the Glen Park construction site, work seemed to be in the early stages. However, in the Marquette neighborhood, where construction began by mid-1992, probably some commercial building was previously located there. Catalina lurks in the neighborhoods around Los Santos, raiding places like dinners and banks. She terrorizes residents and attacks police officers while remaining out of the reach of law enforcement. At the same time, Claude, the future protagonist of GTA 3, is unaware of Catalina living in his crib in San Fierro. I wonder what he could be doing in this abandoned garage. Could it be that he was attracted to this lifestyle, or did he still use the place to work on cars and similar projects? I suspect Claude was involved in illicit activities. It doesn't seem he was taking on major tasks, perhaps minor things like stealing cars and stripping them for parts. There's a reason he teamed up with Catalina. It appeared he was just learning the ropes. He planned to advance, planning to abandon the rundown garage for more significant opportunities. And Agent Mike Terreno meets one of San Fierro Rifa's respected gang members, T-Bone Mendez. After gaining his trust, he participates in forming a syndicate with him and local pimp Jizzy B. Loco to produce and distribute the drugs needed for Mike's covert government operations. The Vietnamese Da Nang Boys gang have just begun to settle in San Fierro, but have yet to make a name for themselves and have no significant influence in the city. It is also known that Kent Paul is at this time in England, where he won the right to become the personal manager of the musical group Garn and Chimps, in which Macker is a soloist, for $50,000. In the small town of Fort Carson in the deserted Bone County, Ken Rosenberg, who arrived with a drug addiction from Vice City, is in rehab by early 1990s. Let's move on to Las Venturas. The place where the Four Dragons Casino was eventually built is now under construction. According to the story in radio news, this building site has recently been opened. The project is being funded by the San Fierro Chinese Mafia, with major investment coming from Hong Kong. Casino Caligula, for its part, has been under the influence of one mafia group or another for decades. It's now run by Italians from the Sindaco clan of Liberty City. Among the known details is the appointment of a man named Mickey as their manager, who was then eliminated and replaced by Ken Rosenberg. In the Starfish Casino area, as the story progresses, we see only a portion of the building already built, and work may have begun before Carl arrived. Also, before the CJ arrived, there was an earthquake in San Andreas. If you think that the roads were blocked by corrupt police officers, or it's just some sort of limit from the developers, this instead is exactly the result of a natural catastrophe that radio news mentioned, skillfully used by Rockstar to keep the player in the right city with an explanation of what's going on. However, this is not to be confused with the 4 wanted stars the player can be awarded with. This is due to Tenpenny's shenanigans. The results of the earthquake include a destroyed freeway in San Fierro. As for the whole block in Doherty, I have my doubts. It's more like the place was originally planned for demolition without the earthquake being involved. This is how things are in the state of San Andreas in the absence of CJ. In my opinion, this amount of information could be the basis for a full story revealing the backstory of the game in a spin-off. However, in our case, we are left only to speculate on this topic. I'll be glad to receive your comments and feedback. Subscribe to the channel. It will help me to make better videos. See you soon.